Hello YouTube, I'm Zach, you're watching ZakDTV. Thanks for stopping in. If you like what I do, go ahead and click subscribe. If you don't, give me a thumbs down, let me know why. I like to do my show in 4 parts. There's something interesting, something fun, something important, then we'll finish up with something dumb. Let's get right into this then. They have found the oldest multi-cell organism ever, and it was found in central China. The fossils are less than 1 millimeter in size, which is smaller than your average grain of sand. This thing lived about 540 million years ago in that area. They're calling it the Saccharithus because it looks like a bag or a sack. It is categorized as a deuterostome. I hope I'm saying that right. I know I'm not. And that's a category that includes most everything. It's related to a lot of different animals on Earth, including vertebrates. This is one of life's oldest known relatives. To the naked eye, it just looks like little black flecks of sand. But when they got it under a microscope, they were amazed by the level of detail. You could see that it was a round shape with a predominant feature of a mouth. It was covered in a flexible skin and didn't have an anus. So you know what that means. Waste has to go somewhere. They figure this creature lived in between grains of sand, eating other smaller organisms, or just cleaning up whatever was there. It's pretty neat to think this little millimeter-sized speck eventually evolved into what we see living around us. Let me know what you think about that. Something I thought was pretty fun here. It was pretty funny at least, was there's a family in Idaho. It's a town called Haley, Idaho, and the one night, it was a Sunday night, they heard a ruckus going on in their house. So they get up and they go to look, and they found a moose in their basement. There's a full-size female moose. She had pushed her way in through a window that was left not properly latched. She even came in without breaking the window. So when they found her down there, they called the local authorities. They had the sheriff out, the police out. Idaho Fish and Game Commission came out, and they tried to herd this thing out. They tried to push it in the direction of the door. The moose got agitated, started charging and whatnot, so they ended up having to tranquilize this poor moose. She ended up passing out. They carried her outside. She woke up a little bit later, went back to the wild like nothing happened. Something I thought was also a little bit added funny to this. In that same area, not too long ago, there was an elk that did the same thing. That's when you know you live in the wild, when you have stuff like that going on. That gave me a good chuckle this morning. I'm glad I ran across that one. Alright, the next thing I'd like to talk about is our current political climate in regards to the media. Recently, Trump has stated that he is at war with the media. We've had his chief strategist say that the media is the opposition and needs to keep its mouth shut. Now, that's according to a headline that was written by CNN, and the actual statement, though, was the media should be embarrassed and humiliated and keep its mouth shut and just listen for a while. They didn't want to give you all that because it made too much sense. It didn't sell their paper. This is Steve Bannon. He is the former executive of Breitbart. Breitbart is known for their stories against the left, which leave out a lot of the facts to make them look bad. And he's getting it done to him now. But this shows the media's influence in our politics. Now, we live in a time where mainstream media is piped into our homes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But they only give us about 5 stories a day, and they put them on a repeating cycle to hammer that point in your head all day, every day. And if you go to the internet, you're bombarded with fake news stories, half-truths, people's opinions that don't really matter, or their take on something that they leave out all the facts. Or if you go to the internet to find your news, you're in a world of fake news, half-truths, and alternative facts, and the stuff that just leaves us looking dumb when we feel that we know something about a topic and we don't know everything. Now, the reason for this on the internet is they know that by telling you what you think you already know, by giving you that Trump is a horrible person, Golden Showergate's a great example, the people who read that story and promoted that story wanted to think poorly of Donald Trump, and they did. And they promoted that story, CNN picked it up, BuzzFeed picked it up. All of a sudden it's found out to be a complete lie, a total fabrication. It ran that way because they were stroking people's ego. They got people to click on that and retweet it by stroking their egos and telling them something they thought they already knew, and just verifying their beliefs. There's a simple reason for why they do stories this way. It's to get us to click on their site and make them some ad revenue. It's all about money. That's all these people care about. They're not in it to spread the truth. They're not in it to spread the news or to inform you. They want that dollar that they get when they reach a certain number of advertisers, and to do that, they'll do anything. They'll lie to you. They'll give you half-truths. They'll feed you what you want to hear in order to make sure that we, as their viewers, click on their page and share it with as many of our friends as we can. And by doing this, they also protect the real news. The real stories that should be out there. Did you know that 90% of our media is owned by 5 media giants? Yes, 5 media giants own 90% of what we are allowed to see and hear in the United States. A good example, you should look at the covers of Time magazine here in the US and out there in the world. The differences are amazing. When they'll have covers going out to England and everywhere else about famine and murder and the genocide in Africa, we get the cover on how Justin Bieber did this, or how whatever celebrity is in the news now. They don't want us to have the whole story. And the reason for this is there are companies out there like Comcast, who also owns NBC and BuzzFeed. Or you have things like Disney has ABC and Vice. They're getting every bit of the market they can to make sure they influence our opinions. And all these companies have giant stakes, or they flat out own the people that build our cars, produce our electricity, make our microwaves, and feed our children. So they don't need to give us the whole news if they can keep us focused somewhere else. It amazed me, even someone like Philip DeFranco, I think he's a great source for news. I like his show. His company is owned by Time Warner, the same people who have CNN. And with so few people running the majority of what we see, it's hard to believe they wouldn't use it for their own gain. And whether that gain is personal or political, I don't know. But I guarantee you they'd want to suppress information that hurts their holdings or their shareholders. I started this focusing on Trump and the state of the media and his war against the media. And I wanted to bash the guy when I started this, but like so many of my stories, it evolved as I did the research. I have known about these massive media groups. I have seen the news cycle in CNN. I've seen how they cover these stories and how they only give you what you want to see. So I'm not bringing this up to support Trump either. And I'm not bringing this up to discuss conspiracy theories about what big media is piping into our head or how they're trying to sway popular opinion. I brought this up to ask everyone, open your eyes, do your own research. Don't just grab onto that headline and run with it. Don't be cows being led to the slaughter. Be your own person. Find out the truth and always check your facts. That's all I'm going to say about this. I hope you guys pay attention to what's in the world around you, and I hope you let me know what you think about this story. Give me some feedback. Let me know how I can improve. Wrap all this up, we're going to finish with something dumb, and I think you guys will agree on this one. I'm sure it'll piss somebody off, but hey, that's life. For my dumb of the day, the award goes to PETA. The whole organization. We know PETA's money hungry, media hungry. They want to get their message out to everyone. This time, their newest target is Warhammer 40,000. Yes, Warhammer. The little board game that you play with your miniatures that you get to paint yourself. Pretty neat game. That is the target of PETA's ire. They're enraged because the minifigures wear what looks to be fur. They released a statement and sent a message to the company that makes Warhammer that they appreciate these are fictional characters, and draping them in what looks like a replica of dead animal sends a message that wearing fur is acceptable. Come on now, really? If that's the biggest thing people like PETA have to worry about, they're running out of causes here. And it kind of makes me wonder too, if they're after fake fur on plastic figures, how long until they go after furries for dressing up? For that, PETA, you get my dumb of the day. Thanks for being there for me. That wraps up my show, guys. I hope you like what I did. Tried to get through it a little quick today. Hopefully speed it up some for you. If you like what I do, again, subscribe. I know I'm being a subscription whore here. I'm a new channel. I'd like to get this thing rolling. If you don't like what I do, leave me a comment. Let me know how I can make this better. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching ZakDTV. I'll see you guys tomorrow.